Got one more story for you today, and this is almost a laugher if you ask me, because we've got good old Mamdami, Zoran Mamdami, who's now been elected as the communist mayor of New York, and he has promised all sorts of stuff. He has promised free buses, free subways. He's promised state-run grocery stores. He has promised to tax the rich. He's promised to defund the police. He's promised to do so much stuff. The only problem is most of it he can't do. Check this out. This is awesome. You're going to love this.
New York City Mayor Mamdami, who's going to be taking office in January, proposal of a free bus transit has been shut down. New York City Governor Kathy has blocked Mamdami proposal for the free bus service. She basically said she could not endorse a plan that will cut revenues from a system that relies on bus fare. Now, the crazy thing about this is, you best believe Mamdami already knew this. You don't think his camp knew this? You don't, oh God. He fed you all a bunch of baloney, liberals. You know he can't do that. This man won mayor and he think he's Moses, the head homie in charge, huh? The thing about this is most of the things that he was offering are things that if you did a little research and investigate, you would realize that he is incapable of doing these things. But no. You know liberals, boy, whatever they hear that sounds good to them in their feelings, they gonna go with it, which is why I don't even blame Mamdami. He played the system. He capitalized off of stupid people. This is America, and one thing America has is a whole bunch of sheeps, like liberals. Follow a person in the abyss if that person sounded good.
So this guy cracks me up because he's absolutely 100% correct. Mamdami has promised all sorts of free stuff, all sorts of tax the rich stuff. And he can't deliver. He is not allowed. We've got a clip from Kathy Hochul where she basically shuts down his free buses, free subways situation. And we're going to get into that. But realize that much of his agenda that he fed to liberal nutcases and to college students in New York, he does not have the authority or the power to do. That person was exactly right. Check out Kathy Hochul on Mamdami's plan for free subways and free buses. And then we'll get into the rest of it.
I cannot set forth a plan right now that takes money out of a system that relies on the fares of the buses and the subways. But can we find a path to make it more affordable for people who need help? Of course we can. And
what about child care, though?
Child care, I already committed to. I cannot set forth.
So she's basically said, nope, Mamdami, you cannot have free subways and free buses. Not going to happen. And furthermore, Mamdami does not have the power to tax the rich. He cannot levy. I'm finding this out. I thought he could at least raise the New York City tax, but now come to find out that according to the state constitution of New York, no tax can be levied other than by the state legislature. So Mamdami doesn't even have the ability to raise taxes on New York City residents. He cannot. He has to go to the state legislature. And Hochul's already signaled that that's not going to happen, that they are not going to further raise the taxes on the rich. Even so, even now knowing that Mamdami cannot implement most of his radical tax the rich, free stuff agenda, you still have a mass exodus going on from New York as businesses and the upwardly mobile, the wealthy, anybody who can get out is leaving in droves. They're talking about $100 million in investment in Florida real estate. Florida real estate is off the charts right now. They've got warnings from real estate agents saying the prices are going to skyrocket. You've got people heading south to Florida, heading south to Texas, and heading north to New Hampshire even. Anything to get out of New York City. You're probably going to see a big real estate boom also in places like Westchester and the border bedroom communities to New York City, because people are not going to hang out in the city. Why? Because even though he can't tax the rich and make everything free, what Zoran Mamdami can do is he can appoint a ridiculous police commissioner who goes along with his idea to defund the police and put in a bunch of social workers. He can put people in power that try to impede ICE, which is going to create a fight with the federal government and might well get Mamdami arrested if he goes down there and physically tries to impede them. This could get really ugly really fast. Now, and here's Hakeem Jeffries. Even Hakeem Jeffries is admitting the quiet part out loud that Mamdami can't do this stuff. Check this out. So if you're a Mamdami supporter, if you're a voter, you got played.
So frozen rent, free buses, universal child care. Do you believe that he can deliver on those promises very quickly, Leader Jeffries?
Well, he's going to have to work with the Rent Guidelines Board and probably more importantly with the governor of the state of New York and the state legislature in order to enact those proposals. But I do expect that the legislature, of course, and the governor are going to meet him in good faith, try to negotiate a path forward. But it's all centered around the notion of making New York City more affordable, which is, of course, what we have to do throughout America in a country that's far too expensive. This is the wealthiest country in the history.
So basically what he says is, no. He can't do any of that stuff unilaterally. He's got to work with the state legislature. He's got to work with various boards that are already set up. He's got to work with Kathy Hochul. And Kathy Hochul's already said, none of this is going to happen. She might be willing to try to meet him on a plan for childcare. But again, that's got to get money. That's got to get voted from the state legislature. So even Kathy Hochul cannot do that on her own. It's all got to come from the state legislature, according to the New York State Constitution. Now, again, we're talking about one-party rule in New York. It's very much like California. But they still have to find the money to pay for all this, and they're not going to get it. And they're not going to raise taxes more on New Yorkers. I don't think so, because that'll just create a mass exodus from the whole state. This thing is going to crash and burn. The Mamdami mayoral tenure, I believe, is going to be an utter disaster. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with safety and security in New York, what they do in terms of trying to impede ICE, what they do in terms of trying to defund the police. Obviously, they're not going to do anything like Giuliani did with stop and frisk and the broken windows theory. None of that's going to happen. So crime will continue to skyrocket in New York. But we will see what happens. Let me know what you think in the comments. I really appreciate everybody rolling up. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks for watching Courageous Media. Remember, smash that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. And if you like the content, please share Courageous Media with everybody that you know. Remember, God is good and He is sovereign. It'll all be good in the end. Until I catch you next time.